Make a motion to accept the agenda for Wednesday, May 30th, Selectmen's Chamber, Town Hall, 6 PM.
I will make a motion to open the meeting of Scituate Board of Health, Wednesday, May 30th, Selectmen's Chambers, Town Hall, 6 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first thing, discuss vote septic system design hearing, 14 Fieldstone Road, Spath Engineer representing the homeowner, request for installation of septic system requiring local upgrades and variance. If you want to just state your name.
My name is Phil Spath, Spath Engineering, and this is for a design for repair system on 14 Fieldstone Road. What we have is we have 3 local upgrade approvals and 1 variance requesting. The site is along Fieldstone Road, wetlands behind it, and as you can see, is a 50-foot buffer alongside 100-foot buffer. So there's really no place to put a system except within our 50-foot buffer. And by doing that, we're looking for a local upgrade approval to use a sieve analysis. Couldn't do a perk test because of the high groundwater. And we're looking for a setback from the wetlands from 50 feet to 21.4 in this location. Setback from the foundation from 20 feet to 18.3, and a groundwater separation from 4 feet to 3 feet. Being in the 50-foot buffer, we have to get a variance. Normally, it would be covered under the local upgrade approval, which is allow a 4 to 2 from this type of innovative alternative system being used. We're using a Presby system, which allows that 4 to 2 normally, but when the 50-foot buffer, we have to go for a variance to do that. That's a short thing, and there you go.
I'm not familiar with Fieldstone, where is that?
Yeah.
It's off of right here. Here's Man Hill, here's Tilden Road up into here, and it's, once you're on Man Hill past Tilden, it's your first left.
Where's the existing system?
Right here. There's the septic tank, and there's the D-box of the system. It's right somewhere in here.
That's going to go away, fill in everything?
What's that?
That's going to go
That's going to be
away?
removed because we're putting the system right in, so we have to excavate it out. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right, Janet, anything you have to say?
So I conducted an administrative review, sent questions and comments to the engineer, which is in your packet, just yesterday. Phil addressed those comments and provided minor revision, which is the plan that you see in front of you. So I have no further administrative questions or issues.
Butters cards, I see. It says-
Yep.
Yep, we got them.
Okay. Russell?
I have no comment. You've done what you can do, and
Yeah.
it is what it is, and you followed suit with everything asked, so.
All
No,
right.
looks good.
Ready? I make a motion to approve the septic repair, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Anybody else?
Oh.
Sorry.
Any, one of the butters of
Any
this?
butters or any
Questions to it?
This one, what address?
14 Fields,
Fieldstone?
okay.
All right, beautiful. I'll make a motion to approve the septic repair plan pending approval of Conservation Commission with the local upgrades requested that include, number 1, use of sieve analysis instead of perk test. Number 2, reduction in setback between the SAS and wetlands from required 50 feet to 21.4 feet. Number 3, reduction in setback between the tank and foundation wall from required 20 feet to 18.3 feet. And with the following variances requested as well. Number 1, reduction of the required separation between the bottom of the SES and groundwater from 4 feet to 2 feet.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night. Yep.
All right. Thank you. Discuss and vote septic design hearing, 127 and Vinyl Morse Engineer, representing homeowner, request for installation of septic system required local upgrades and variances.
Great, thank you. My name's Jeff Assett. This is a septic repair of 127 Ann Vinyl. It's a very tight property because it's only 40 feet wide. There is a one-story, two-bedroom house on the property. The backyard is all wetlands. Yes. What's that?
Letter?
Oh, I dropped it off earlier today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's probably it right there.
Got it. Thank you.
So right now, there's a cesspool out back. It's in the wetland. And so we're moving the system to the front yard to get it away from the wetland. We're asking for local upgrades to do a sieve analysis for a reduction in the setback from the components to the water line, which will be sleeved within 10 feet of the system. And we're asking for property line setbacks. We're looking to reduce the setback from the property line to the field on the left-hand side from 10 feet to 7. The reason we're asking for that is that we have the gas line right here, so we can't push it over any further without moving the gas line. And it also works out that you can leave enough room here to park a car and open the doors. On the other side, we're asking to reduce the setback from the property line to the tanks from 10 feet to 6 feet. And again, it's because of the gas line. We have the tanks on one side of the gas line and the field on the other. And I'll note that the existing cesspool is only 4 feet off the property line, so we are going further away with the field. We're not asking for a groundwater reduction because you can't ask for that in combination with the water line setback. So luckily we have good soil here. It's nice gravelly material, but it is high water table. So this will be a mounded system with a 3 foot tall remaining retaining wall around it. And also this is a neighbor's house right here, right beyond the property line. So I don't want to put a mound on this side right next to their house. In fact, it has to be 20 feet away anyways.
Okay. Small piece of land.
Yeah, type property.
Thing I will say, any improvement, there's improvement, because having a cesspool in the wetlands, that's,
It's just flowing into the wetland. I mean, that cesspool's not doing anything anyways.
This is a failure, or this is an upgrade, or?
So.
No increase in flow.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no increase in flow. It certainly would fail a Title V
What size
inspection.
dwelling
Two-bedroom.
is it?
And it's physically compromised. The lid is cracked, it's been exposed to the elements, it's an unsafe structure.
Okay.
The house is currently not occupied.
are you a butter?
Butter?
sir?
Oh,
A butter?
yes.
Yeah. Do you have any questions or anything? Do you have
Lots of
any
them.
comments?
Oh, plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to interrupt or be rude or anything like that.
No, we're kind of looking it over, and
Yeah.
sometimes you have to do what you have to do with the system, but
Right.
we'd love to hear from you.
Just want to state your name and,
Paul Mendez.
And your address, Paul?
Address, please.
Address 121 Ian Vinyl Road. I mean, number one, there's a cease
He's
and
over
desist
here.
on the house
Okay.
already.
Mhm.
The bank-owned property, correct?
No, it's been sold.
Oh, it has been.
Yeah.
It's a,
I'm working for the
Investment.
new owner who's kind of renovating it.
So the investor paid cash then, because?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, I'll give you a little idea. I live right next door, and, I mean, if you look at that, I just built my house 10 years ago.
Mr. Mendez, where,
My house is over this side. Yeah, I'll even show you a picture.
so if you're looking at the house, you're to the left.
If you look at the house, I'm to the,
Off of,
right, my house is right here.
okay.
Okay, it's not in the picture, but, I have grandchildren that play in my yard constantly, and, this is the lot. Okay, here's my house is not there, this is when I built it, but that's their house right there, right on the line.
and it's your lot.
Right, this right here is my lot, it goes from here, and it goes behind their lot, okay? And, I mean, here's a picture. This was taken out a couple minutes ago, not too long ago. Okay, if you look at, this is the property line. This is all wetlands. Yeah, here's a better picture if you want. Oh, that's the same one, I'm sorry. And, because I say, this is the wetlands. They put crushed stone, they put cement. This is this before, there was no building permit on this property.
There's no what?
There's no building permit on this property. And this is all the work that they've done.
Which is why the building department issued a cease and desist relative to the construction on the house itself.
Well, how come they didn't put it on, because they knocked it down, how long did it take to knock a house down?
They didn't knock the house
They
down.
knocked down a piece of, they put that on, they knocked that back off. Okay, you know, and, I mean, I doubled up on these pictures, but I can show you. I thought that it was supposed to go in front of the wetland first, the conservation committee first. As you can see, you can see my house there. That's my garage.
Were the wetlands delineated by a,
Properly going.
Yeah, we had them done by
Right.
Brad Holmes with environmental consulting
This is the
restoration. So the wetland line in the back, this is a tree line in the back.
The wetlands
This
goes
is
right
all
across, yeah.
maintained lawn, well, poorly maintained lawn, but it's all wetland. The
That's all
line goes
wetland.
right up to the house.
I got my.
And then on the plan, you have the edge of pavement, single yellow line, curb, sidewalk, and then a wetland on the other side
the
too.
other side too?
Yeah, so we're keeping the system
So you're
created
not
50 feet
there's
away.
there's no wetland right here?
You're in the floodplain, no doubt about that.
No,
It's
I'm not talking
land
about
subject to
floodplain. I'm
coastal
talking
storm
about-
flowage.
Want to show you, I'll show you the wetland ice.
Yeah, no, I saw the puddle. It's
No, not
wet.
the puddle, that's the wetland ice.
Those aren't wetland flags.
No, but that's I'll be honest with you,
Well, the wetland issue might be for another board, and
Right.
that's why I asked him if it was, how the line was established. You know, it was done by a certified
Surveyor.
wetland specialist.
Yeah. We're sitting at elevation 7 here, and the floodplain's elevation 11. It's a very low-lying area.
Is this proposed project scheduled in front of conservation at a already determined date?
It is. I don't know the date, but it's coming up.
It was
Probably
scheduled
next
last
week,
week.
week after.
and I was not notified. As a matter of fact, there was a meeting, two of us, and this is another gentleman that was right next to me on the other side of us, of this person. And this was, we never got a letter to go to that meeting last week, and they asked for the green card. You know, I didn't know what a green card was. And they explained to them, if we don't get a green card, you have to start the whole process over again. And I personally think that they did this on purpose, and they wanted to go in front of you guys first before they get the wetland, because, as I said, one of these pictures here, yeah, that's a truck, but
Well, like on the last meeting, our vote, whether it's a yay or a nay, or if it changes, it's subject to conservation approval as well.
Right.
So, you know, they have to start somewhere. You can't have it just go around in a circle. Well, you go first, no, you go first.
no, I agree, but the meeting was last week, and we were never notified.
I gotta ask your intent here, are you looking to like stop this house from?
Yes, but wait, not really, I don't really want to stop it,
Right.
but I don't want a 3-foot wall beside my house. Where is all that water gonna go? In my yard, I have grandchildren.
Okay,
You think you want my
well, that
kids
brings
ever-
us to the point of, you know, it's tough to say that you have a house and we have to try to, the engineer does, find the best solution without taking somebody's value away. You know, you can't just condemn a house that somebody's had and say, that's it.
Well-
It's unbuildable anymore.
But hey, do you know, anybody that would buy a house that would be fixed up and made any money on,
Right.
would be Steve Diopa. You'd buy anything. Put it this way, no one bought this property, and the reason why someone bought this property, there was so much, if you look at this is all brand-new, fresh stone that was put there on, because that's what they did, before they even pulled any permits. They poured stone on it, so it would not show no waters. They got a mark right there. You know, it's brand-new, fresh stones. Was there a permit pulled? Was there a permit pulled for wet stone? You know, I mean, was there a permit pulled?
That's not our.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I do understand. I'm
Right,
just,
right, right.
I would put it this way, if you,
I can,
I was at the DP, whatever it is, in DPW in Lakeville. I spoke with a gentleman there, and I explained to him, no, DP, I'm sorry. And I spoke to the gentleman there, and I said, would you want something like this on your property? And I spoke to 3 realtors, the same thing, they're gonna say, that's gonna depreciate your house unbelievable. I mean, would you want a 3-foot wall beside your house? What is gonna, number one, it's gonna lose value. My grandkids are gonna be playing in the yard, what are they gonna do, go swim in that little side pool with all the mosquitoes? I mean, it's just insane. If anything, maybe, I'm saying, maybe a tight tank, I don't know nothing too much, but that's, I'm gonna fight it to the end. And, you know what I mean, I don't care what it costs me, whatever it does. I mean, this gentleman here, he's here too. He doesn't put up with it, he doesn't want to put up with, something else there. It's just unbelievable. It's just,
So nobody wants a mound in their front yard. I mean,
Right.
my client doesn't want a mound themselves. But the way that the bacteria is broken down, it's broken down in that zone between, under the chambers and the water table.
Okay, now-
And if you don't have that separation, then it's not being treated. And that's the problem with the cesspool out back. That might function if the sewage goes out to it, it goes right out to the groundwater and disperses. The new, no, it's not very new, but the Title V requirements make us elevate the system and do a low-profile system. These chambers are only 8 inches tall. They're the smallest field we can do to keep that field as low as possible and get the treatment before the water table. So there's really, I've done everything I can to keep this mound as small as possible for these people.
I don't think your concern's not the mound, though. I mean,
It's the wall.
It's the wall.
right.
Yeah.
You want the
I
wall.
actually want it to be heard at some point, so.
It's the wall. I mean, I'm gonna have sitting water there. I mean, if you look at it's all in this.
But we don't, I can't confirm that this is wetland until somebody
Okay.
comes in and tells us that it's wetland, or this is.
This is not my markings. These are not my markings. Those, okay, you see the house, that's his house right there. This is my house.
I get it.
I spent a lot of money on my engineer. I spent a lot of money on marking out the wetlands, and I had to do a lot of things to build my garage, because I was that close to the wetlands. And believe me, I don't, like I said, I don't want a pond in my front yard. I don't want, and I don't understand why.
So we're not filling between the field and up to the house.
Mhm.
The deck's on sonotubes, right here. And my client asked if they can fill right up to the foundation. I said, no, because we have to keep that open so the water can flow around if need be. So we're keeping that open for the water, so it can continue to go around the field either direction.
But the only thing is, what's gonna happen to
So,
what's gonna happen to all this water that's there? That's gonna either go on that's gonna go either, put it this way, no matter what you do, the water's gonna go on either sides of us. It's either going to my side or his yard.
It's not going to increase the amount of water, and it's not going,
Yeah, but what his problem is, it's gonna push it somewhere.
so it's kind of a low point right here. It's not a wetland, but if that does overtop, I want to make sure the water can go around, and that's why we're not filling this area also.
Did you want to put in, did you want to come up and state your name and?
Steve Combs, I've been in the house since 1982. I've known, she's almost 90. I've known Rita Paulzano's whole family my entire life since I was born.
Mr. Combs, can you just give us your address?
Address.
Oh, sit down.
Yeah, you don't
Your
have to
address.
say, just.
Oh,
Your
I'm
address.
sorry. I thought
State
everybody
your
could hear me.
address.
I live at 129 Ann Vinyl.
Okay. And you say you know enough,
So you're 121, you're 129.
Yes.
So you're on the other side.
Paul's got some old double or triple lot because of the way they set up the post office. But I'm 129, which is 127. Is it okay for me to put my 2 cents
Yeah,
in?
please do.
I'm not an engineer, but I'll be honest. Show me Ann Vinyl. Hold on.
Here's
You get
the-
my-
right?
Got my dollar glasses.
This is your
That's
property,
Ann Vinyl, okay.
129.
Here's the deal.
So this is.
This is the back?
His
no,
building.
this is the back, this is
That's the house that's in,
This is the
okay.
street, they're gonna put this right here.
About 3 or 4 months ago, my buddy was helping me put a 13-foot whaler on my boat to get out to my bigger lobster out in the harbor. And he goes, what happened there? They cut the 12 by 20 off, and I said, where's your permit? And the guy goes, oh, we got a permit. There was no permit. We're ripping the whole back off the
Right,
house.
that's got
No.
Arabella.
Not, that's building, okay.
Yeah.
All over here, the door is right here. There used to be an awning here. They ripped that down. They dumped all stone in here, this brand-new gray stone, a 3/4. All in here. About 4 years ago, this guy, and I want to say his name, he walked out of the house about 2 to 3 years ago, or about 4 years ago, he had 3 or 4 dump trucks, load this with stone here. And to this day, between, Paul had to get all the engineering stuff between here and there. I'm telling you the truth, anything over 1.5 to 2 inches of rain, 10 inches of water sits from the end vinyl right down to here, and it just sits there. This is probably about 2.5 feet, but at least 1.5 to 2 feet, it just sits there for about 2 weeks.
What is the grade?
There's an apron, I think it's called an apron, the driveway, everybody's got one, right? That when they, the town, you know, they put the asphalt in. This is soaking wet right here, and I'm telling you, and,
So the road is 7.8,
yeah,
8.1 over here,
yeah.
7.2, 7.7,
Yeah.
7.6.
When they,
4.
even with the dump stone, he put the stone about this thick. I saw the dump trucks over there, he raked it all out, it took him about a week. And even, anything over 1.5 to 2 inches, that water just sits there, and it's like this deep. Out here, forget it. You can go there right now and stand. And we only had a little rain on Memorial Day, you can stand there, and you'll go like this, you'll go right up to your ankles. This is really wet, and this is really, really wet, anything over 1.5 of rain. I'm telling you.
This fence, no, that's Stevens, that's Stevens fence, you know, on the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
So that goes down this side?
that's a stone, that's the stuff.
Right along here,
You can see the fence
Okay.
there.
that's where the,
All right.
but I just don't understand why they didn't mark the wetland, so, yeah, to be honest, if you go down to the planning board, to the conservation, that's where I got this from. I took it.
I think we should leave that up to conservation.
Right, we'll
I
leave
do
that up
have,
to them.
I do have an as-built for your garage, and it doesn't show a wetland here.
That's it right there, that's it right there, if you want to look at it. I just put the green marks with the flag there.
I have another plan that doesn't show a wetland there too.
To be honest with you, the guy was there marking it out, I explained to him, this is all wetlands, and he says, oh geez.
The whole problem. Aside from that apron out front, where the water gas come in, that concrete apron, it's
We've
about
been here,
6,
we've
7
been here
feet.
for, I don't know how many years, and I know every one of you guys, I've seen you guys, you know what I mean? I went through every single thing to build my house, and I spent a lot of money on my house, and someone from California comes in, and wants to make an investment, so I have to suffer for her.
She saw it on house flipping, that's where she saw it. The contractor told me. She got it for 75 grand to flip it. If I'd known that, I would've bought it and had a excavator rip it down and left it.
All grass.
I would've gotten permission to rip it down, but it's not, I'm not kidding you.
It's almost too bad you guys didn't get together and
I
buy
would've
it.
bought, if it was 75, I
Split
would've
it
taken it out of my
half and
own.
say-
That's what I was waiting for.
I would've bought it, ripped it down, and
Well, no,
all.
because they were asking like 100 something, that's a little bit too much for us just to knock it down, let's have grass, because it's, we knew that nobody could build on it. And Steve York and Paul, nobody could ever do nothing with that piece of property. I've had so many people say, what about that house? It looks so good on the picture. Yeah, it looks pretty, everything looks good in the picture, but come over
The
here.
contractor said that, she saw it on the internet and
You know,
sent
But
a check.
that's the
for
problem with
75 grand.
existing houses, that the board has granted so many variances in the past.
But I mean,
But you bring up some good points, and there's stuff that, and I'm sure there's other things to discuss, but you just can't stop somebody from having a house there. I mean, it's.
Is this where the septic wants to go?
We had one out in the
Right on the
marsh,
property line.
where we
This
ended
one?
up designing the system into flower pots.
I remember that.
And it was on a seasonal basis that they could use it, because the house wasn't a year-round house. But there was a way that they did it, and this house was built on the wetland. And like I said, to take somebody's value away, you know, that was, it's,
no, I
it's
agree.
not the purpose of the Board of Health, and that's, it's trying to find something that, you know, is engineered that works. We definitely don't want to see your yard get flooded, or your yard get more flooded.
That, yeah, if you ever saw the water down there, and these past 4 northeasters this winter,
Yeah.
we had 2 to 3 inches, and let me tell you something, that water sat there for 5 or 6 weeks. Right here, not just here, it was a
On the
pond, there were
back.
ducks living
Front.
back here, but all up here, there's like an asphalt.
Is this the driveway right here?
Yeah, it's kind of a
You
gravel
still
area in
have
the
that
front.
plan that
Right
shows the
now-
wetlands for your
right now they're
garage?
parked.
You still have that somewhere?
More so right
I
here.
mean,
This
not
is
the
it.
Because of
drawing,
This
the
is
the
the
actual
actual
plan.
park.
The plan's right next door. That's where I took a picture from it.
Yeah.
What was the name of that guy, the big engineering guy, he was over looking at mine, he's looking at yours. he's
Big
looking at
that
yours.
way.
I
Neil
can't even think of it.
Murphy.
So I mean, I think the relief we're asking for is stuff we routinely ask for. And as far as the property line reduction, we're moving the septic
That's a
further
plus.
away from the property than it is now. And we're asking for a reduction to the house, we're asking for a reduction for the sieve. It's all pretty much routine stuff that we generally ask for. And you gotta look at the big picture here, that we're taking a cesspool that's in the wetland and putting in a Title V septic system.
That's also the wetlands.
Well, we know that, that's a nice thing that they've been forced, which they came a different way, but kind of forced to come before us, but you'd like to see those things get fixed.
First, I mean, well, that's why the wetland committee, the wetland meeting was last week, and they changed it without giving us any notice that it was even that day. I called up, and they told me, oh, yeah, the meeting's today, and in fact, Amy told me, oh, it's got, I think there's something kind of funny going on.
So when is the Concom meeting?
It must be next week. If it's not next week, it's the following.
June 4th.
So,
that's-
so next week then.
Is it next month?
Yeah.
I'm almost feeling that this seems to be such a conservation-related issue, more than a Board of Health issue, almost to continue our meeting and see what conservation decides.
Well, conservation always wants to get your opinion first.
Well, they may have it different this time.
Yeah.
It seems more dictated from what the abutters are saying, that there might be some questions with the wetlands. Maybe the wetlands are soil-related and not vegetation-related.
So if conservation is comfortable with this wetland line when we go in front of them, are you comfortable with what we're asking for?
I'd review it again.
We'd have to review.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a lot of other ones, it's a shoehorn, there's only limited you can do. I understand that getting that out of the wetland is a huge plus, and I said that right at the beginning of the meeting, and I mean that. If the neighbors abutters have raised issues that we're not seeing, then it's valid, and I just assume continue and reevaluate. There might be changes when you have the wetlands, if there is another wetland line out there. He's got a plan there. I'd get the original plan. I think
Yeah.
a picture is good for
Well,
discussion, but.
I do have it, I
Yeah.
just took a picture of it, because I just want to bring you guys the pictures just to show you. I do have it, the whole thing, it's about this long and about this wide.
Yeah,
It's almost the same size as this. And-
but it kind of shows proof that at one
It has-
time, whatever that date was, somebody said there was a wetland there.
But there was something weird about that, because he'd been built the garage, and then there's an as-built on file at conservation, and it doesn't show the wetland there anymore, it shows the other ones.
Yeah,
So I told Brad Holmes about that, he looked at that area, and he specifically looked at there and said, no, that's not a wetland.
He's on the market.
Can't speak about the past, but it's not a wetland.
like I say, I don't know if it's wetland by vegetation or wetland by soils,
I know.
but that's a conservation issue. That's
And I defer to the wetland scientist myself on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like I say, I'm seeing more conservation-related issues, when normally conservation is, I can't speak for them, and I won't, but
Right.
they're kind of more saying, does the system fit, and we can work around you guys. I think this one here, we gotta see if we work around them.
Especially because the concerns are from the abutters regarding the wetland or proper
Okay.
marking of the wetland, as opposed to us just granting variances for setbacks, which all depend on hearing what they have to say, because
Okay.
that's their concerns.
And unfortunately, too, I don't know about grading, there's a concern about grading if that wall, I understand you said it's open around it for the water to flow, but it's finding out if it's gonna cause more puddling.
Especially
As an
on this
engineer, it
side.
kind of rides on your shoulder that we're not dispersing water the other side. And I think that's a concern by both abutters. And I don't know if you have to do a little further survey, and if these guys get your card and they're willing to let you, on their property to figure those answers out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be your
I
own
mean,
anyways.
I'm really familiar with the area, I'll do all that, but you get a puddle in here, it's such a flat area that the water generally wants to go this way, but it's so flat that you do get puddles, and
But
there's
once you
definitely a
raise
puddle in
it-
here that doesn't appear to be a
Once you
well.
raise it a little, it's gonna,
Right, so the water, you still have 13 feet to the right of way, probably another 13 feet to the edge of pavement. So the water's gonna be able to continue to go that way, and it'll go this way too. And I could add some flow arrows onto it to say like contractor to maintain that flow pattern, stuff like that. Yeah, that's exactly it right there. So right where that van is parked is where the field's gonna go. So it's already mounted up a little bit there, creating a puddle.
so Paul, yours is over here.
Yeah, that's his
This is
lawn.
the property of this.
Yeah, the trees are on the line.
So,
Okay.
The trees are,
but the point is that that water is coming from somewhere. So if you-
Coming from this way.
If
Yeah.
you mound it up somewhere else, so you're convinced that water's coming from this side of the property?
It is, yeah.
This way.
it's coming from the street. It's coming up off my property.
Say that again?
That water's not coming from my property.
His house is here and it's been mounted. It's elevated up probably 8
Right.
feet, so it's coming down the hill this way.
That's a significant lot,
Yeah.
especially if it's gonna.
Is that now, recently? That's nice.
I mean, this isn't gonna fix your puddle on your property, but it's not gonna make it worse.
It'll make it a lot worse.
It won't.
Because where's all this water gonna go?
It's gonna go,
It's gonna go west.
it's gonna go right around here where it goes now.
It's gonna go to his property?
It's gonna keep going where it goes now. When it fills up to a certain level, it's gonna overtop and run across this property.
But what I'm saying, what about the dumpster?
All right, so, Russell, maybe continue this.
Yeah, I would make a motion to continue this meeting until conservation has a word with it, and has to work with conservation.
To bring up a point,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I signed for 2 letters from Morse Engineering, okay, at the post office. I check it every 2 or 3 days, I check my mail. I signed for one, that said, be here June 4th.
June 4th would be Concom.
Right, that's a conservation.
Right.
However, the one that came for this, I go, what are you talking about? Paul came over, I go, there's no date on this letter. And the woman that was here typing away before, at the one with, what meeting is Frank Snow? What meeting did we come to?
That's Concom.
What's that?
That's
That was conservation. She looked over at me, and I'm over sitting there, and she said, I go, they don't date it? She goes, yeah, they don't put the date on the form. So, and they sent me the registered letter. What kind of form is that where they don't tell you the date of the meeting?
For this meeting?
No, yeah, for the one,
No,
Not-
for the.
no, not that letter, the one
That's
from
previous-
Morse.
previous conversation.
It's got all the lines filled out. And they wrote in Stacy something that bought the house and what they're looking at to replace the septic system. And it's a little more than a replacement, I think. They're putting a brand new septic in. But there's no date to show up for the meeting like there is for June 4th from the conservation. There's no date on the letter. And I signed Morse Engineering's letter.
We can't speak for that.
No, I'm just saying, the form, it should tell you the date that it's here.
I hear you.
Because the Conservation Commission.
Well, that date was on there, right?
Yeah, so that, and that's
No,
why I
not
asked
that
whether-
one. The
Yeah.
one
For
with
the comp,
the,
for the comp.
it
Okay,
looks like
so
somebody
so
did
we
it on a
need to be concerned
mimeograph.
about this meeting,
Correct.
and that you received
See.
proper notice for this meeting.
I got the letter out the truck.
But that's
See,
for
that's the-
conservation,
that-
this is
Right,
Board
okay.
of
We didn't
Health.
get, we didn't get, we didn't get the date for
But the
the.
conservation form from the town hall doesn't give you the date.
Right.
It says show up for the, when you want to show up, next December.
Mhm.
It doesn't give you the
Well,
date,
that's-
which
they
is
do it
kind
for-
of,
they do it
it's
for
a little bit of
purposes when you don't
chicanery
show
to
up.
tell you the
And that's
truth.
why, that's why the gentleman asked for the
I
green
found
card.
that kind of odd.
That's
And
why
a
he-
lady sitting here typing mentioned it.
Joan,
It's-
am I right, our next meeting is the 11th?
The 11th
June 11th.
For this meeting.
for
Board of Health.
Board of Health. Is it the 11th?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys ready? Make a motion to continue pending conservation.
Second.
All in favor? Oh,
Sorry, to June 11th?
to June 11th.
Yeah, it's depending on Concom doesn't cancel or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of need a decision from conservation. I think we kind of leave it up in the air. I think that's kind of quick. If these wetlands are in dispute, I have a feeling they'll be,
Yeah, I mean, if.
they're gonna
if the
continue
parties- if the parties
with more,
need-
and then, until conservation comes up with an answer, I don't think there's any need for us to get together on this again.
So these folks will just need to, these folks need to know when it's continued to, so that they know when to come back for our meeting.
So we have to give a continued date, we just can't continue.
Well, can we keep it on for June 11th, and I'll request a continuance if I need to?
We'll keep it up until 11th.
So
Right
my-
now, it's
so-
June 11th.
So my suggestion, so it's almost 2 weeks from now, they go before conservation on the 4th. If we continue to June 11th, that way we have a specific day that you guys know that we're planning to meet. And then, if conservation issues aren't addressed, or for whatever reason their meeting gets continued, the engineer can request a continuance from us, and the two of you can confirm with me, since you know how to reach me.
Right.
You can confirm with me that it's still on our agenda for the 11th.
Hmm.
Does that make, does?
Yeah.
No,
that
it
way- that
doesn't,
way
but
there,
I
okay?
want you guys aware, I think the green cards are set and that's it, so there's no more notices from the town or the engineer when the meetings are.
Yep, okay.
So it's a little bit in your own lap to
Right now,
follow
it's
through.
June
To
11th.
follow through, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, to follow through.
Can I ask the change, what board comes, is what board comes first, the building, the conservation, I mean, how, you gotta go through 10 boards to build a house, right? I'm not a builder contractor. I order crazy stuff for ships and I drive big trucks. How does it go? Who do you go first? The building? How many boards? Is it the building commissioner first?
He's asking which one goes first, the building,
Then the conservation,
conservation,
then,
or which one goes first?
Well, everyone's different, some you don't need conservation.
Right.
There's no wetlands involved, you don't need
but what's the
conservation.
first board,
And
when
if
you
the
walk in
septic,
the
the Title
town?
V passes, you don't really need Board of Health either, so.
So when I walk in the town hall and I say, I bought a piece of land on Second Cliff for 2.3 million, and I wanna build a house, who's the first people I talk to? What board? Planning board, I mean, health board, I don't know.
When somebody comes into.
I'm gonna defer to the engineer on that, because I called the engineer. and let him-
Every site is, every site's
When
unique.
some-
Is there a step-by-step for which board to go through?
So this is.
Well,
when
that's that
somebody-
thing, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Yeah, you might contact the Board of Health first to do your perk test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
My
Then the
rec-
building.
You might be on sewer.
Unless a piece of
Yeah,
property
sewer.
goes out, right.
Town sewer, you're all right. right.
Maybe
We
you're
don't
not within
have
100
town
feet of the
sewer.
wetland.
Right, so it's, there's a lot of different steps around it, obviously.
My recommendation when folks come in and say, who do I need to see? I say, since you're standing in this building, I recommend you go to planning, building, and conservation.
Planning, building, conservation, okay.
I say all of them.
Yeah.
I say, you're here, go to each department,
Okay.
see what they would require you to do.
Yeah.
And based on that, you'll know how to file appropriate papaperwork, so that you hear from everybody
Okay.
at about the same time.
The reason why he's asking these questions is because this gentleman, whoever the person did, came into this property, they started ripping the house down, there was no permits, there were no nothing. To be honest with you, I was neighborly, I says like, oh, that's
What
fine,
about the
that's fine.
5 footings out front they poured?
You know, they poured, I mean,
watched
that's
the pouring.
conversation though. But what happened was, they started tearing out the building with no permits at all. They tore up the back of the house, they started adding on. I went to the bill inspector, I explained it to him, he's like, yeah, I know, he's just gonna support. I mean, you see the type of work that's done to this house. I mean, they're screwing new wood to rotted sills. No one, whoever purchases this house is gonna be, they're gonna be doomed. And it's just terrible. And what they're doing is, they did all this work with no permit at all.
Well, the building inspector is the one that needs to know.
Well, no, and then,
Well, he is,
And that's
because
why- and
that's
that's
how
why
we
he
get
issued-
notified.
and- right.
well,
that's why
but
we
the thing is,
issued
I
a
mean,
cease and
it was,
desist.
it was numerous of times. I spoke to him, and I didn't speak to him, I didn't say nothing to him. I just kinda like watched until the gentleman told, oh yeah, they're gonna put a 4-foot wall here, and I said, no, they're not. And that's when I went to the bill inspector, I said, listen, and he's like, well, I go, is there a permit on the job? And he's like, no, I'm gonna give him a permit for just taking the deck off. And I said, well, he's pouring cement. I go, he's pouring cement on the, in the front yard, putting posts up. No, he's not. We argued in front of, it wasn't an argument, it was like, no, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Yes, he is. So anyways, the next day he came down, and I saw him there, and he's like, he apologized to me. He goes, I'm sorry. He says he wasn't supposed to pour these cement posts here. I go, you're 3 feet away from the wetlands. Number one, if you do something like that, you're supposed to go to the wetlands and explain to them, and listen, can I pour cement 3 feet away from the, never got no permit, no, never. So, I mean, if you really look at my point of view, I spent a lot of hard work and money to get my variance to build that close to 50 feet away from the, it was a lot of work, a lot of money, and then someone comes from out of town and just walks in and decides to do what she wants on this property with
Well,
no
seems like
permit?
they've been put on notice, so.
Yeah, they've been put on notice, but how long, they did all that work, and then did, what, 6 weeks worth of work?
Yeah.
And then gets put on notice? It's, to be honest with you kind of figure that, hey, listen, how can they get away with this? Is there something funny going on? Don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, that's
I'm sure the eyes didn't catch up until some point, or sometimes neighbors have to
What happened
call in
was-
and say, hey, this is going on. I mean,
Sometimes you have to police it yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
the town officials can't be everywhere all the time.
No, but I was
Especially
up
this
there.
winter with so much damage that happened over the entire town of Scituate. I think they've had their plate
No,
full.
I get exactly, but the only thing is, I went up
So
there
that's where
numerous of
someone in
times.
the butter says, hey, wait a minute, there's one thing about somebody putting a new window in without a permit, but this guy's redoing his house,
Right,
please
but I
get on
mean,
the stick.
wetlands, that's a little different, I mean,
Sure.
putting a window in, I mean, this gentleman here put a roof on his house. He paid $300.
I had
for
the
his-
check from Boston, I cashed it at Scituate Federal, I came in, got the permit.
Yeah.
before I called the guys from Weymouth to put the roof on. I
There
pulled
you
the
go, that's the right
permit
way to do it, and
I
then
did.
no one can ever come back on you. or
I got a 35-year
everybody
rent.
else.
Well, see, that's
Nice
why
people.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to, you know, I mean, just trying to nip in the butt. I'm not sure if I can, or I'm gonna try like hell, and then, you know, so if this doesn't go, like I said, I'm gonna fight to the end. I have to hire my attorney, I'll hire my attorney. It's just, you know, it's just insane. It's just, you know, I mean, it's like, the whole thing, I spoke to the bill inspector numerous of times, and I says, can't do this. I mean, and then, number one, when you're digging, put it this way, he gave him a permit to build on, like, to build a deck. Number one, I spoke to the woman, she told me, as long as he does not interrupt the floor, then he's okay. Well, he interrupted the ground, because he dug down, and he shouldn't have.
Yeah. And I hate to cut you short.
No, no,
We've got other business
No,
to
no,
attend
no,
to
no.
tonight.
I'll just-
and-
okay.
All right, so
Well,
hopefully I
thank you
can
very much for your
resolve
time.
conservation on June 4th. If so, I'll be here on June 11th. If no, we'll continue to the next one.
So did you actually complete your motion?
Yeah.
I don't think you actually completed the
Yeah.
motion.
So I made the motion to continue till, would we say, June
June
11th, pending
Second.
conservation.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
All right, discuss, vote, update on required septic operation and maintenance contract on repairs, 65 Olive Street. Clyde?
So, I was hoping to give you a slightly more positive update on this one, which has been going on for quite some time. At the last meeting, the homeowner had signed an operations and maintenance contract and was scheduled to have the blower replaced for the fast system by that operator within the next couple of weeks. My most recent check-in with that operator has indicated that the homeowner has chosen to no longer work with them. Despite having a signed maintenance contract for a year, the owner has also signed a contract with someone else for maintenance. So there's currently 2 operations and maintenance contracts in place.
Oh, double it out.
Which leaves them both, I think, in a quandary as to who's doing the work. My understanding from the second operator is that they are ordering the fast blower, will install it within the next several weeks, and then conduct field sampling approximately 1 month later. The first operator, who still has a contract in place, was planning to do scheduled maintenance, which they had been contracted and paid to do. I'm not sure if that occurred, based on the contractual changes or not. My concern with this is that this has been going on for quite some time, and that it seems to get close to a solution, and then there's a hiccup and pulls away, and we have delay after delay after delay.
So just bring her in here.
Pardon?
So let's just bring her in here.
Well, we've attempted to have her come in on multiple occasions, and she has not yet showed up to any of the meetings, and in fact, did not pick up the letter for this meeting. It came back refused. So you had requested an update. At this point, that's what I have to offer. It's not necessarily overly positive.
Now, that's the one where they pumped it, the guy was coming to repair it, and they had to be there together, but he pumped it earlier, and the repair guy can't do it.
That's right. That was the first operator, exactly. So that first operator was planning to come back 2 weeks later, have that coordinated schedule meet up, the pumping and
Right.
the maintenance occur at the same time, then be able to replace the blower, and in theory, then all is working well. The system has not been maintained and not functioning since 2015. So we have, a 3-year period where the major component of a septic system is not operational. And we have yet another delay.
So one of these contracts I see here, I think was Zano Davis. It's just signed,
It's just the other day, May 10th, right?
Yes, that was the second operator.
I got 5/14, 5/17, and that one says that full payment for this one-year contract is due upon signing. So they've been paid for the maintenance of it. I'm assuming.
And the first company has as well.
But there's nothing in here about replacing the blower. We don't see anything in writing.
Because the second operator was unaware that there was a problem with the blower.
Right.
So
But
when
did you say that they're aware of it and they're just gonna?
they're aware of it now,
Right.
because I inquired about, the two maintenance contracts.
Right.
So I asked this second operator, who is Rosanna Davis, if they were aware that the blower was broken. And she said that they were not initially aware that it was broken. We followed up, and that she came back and told me that they can order a new blower, expect to be able to install it 2 weeks from, when she and I spoke, which was just a few days ago. And then install it within a couple weeks, sample a month later, and hopefully, the field samples come back such that the system has not suffered permanent damage from the lack of the blower working.
What would you like us to do?
My greatest concern is that this is yet another delay, that there's constant delay in terms of rectifying a situation that's been ongoing for over 3 years now.
So, you sent the
So-
letter last time, or did you interrupt it?
Yes.
So let's get a constable to serve it.
Would you like her at the next meeting,
I would say, yeah.
the June 11th meeting?
Yeah. Do you call her? Does she not answer the phone? Does she,
I don't have a phone number for her.
Well, she didn't pick up the letter the last time.
does she rejected it?
Right, she didn't sign for it.
Well,
So, I mean, technically, you as the board could deem her system in failure, because it has not been functioning for 3 years. So you could determine that it's in failure, and then take the necessary steps to enforce it being fixed.
so why don't you send another registered letter via constable? Have her served.
The 11th.
Does that timeframe work? The 11th, that's not 2 weeks away. Can you get a letter written in the constable and that's the amount of proper notification?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got to call the constable anyway for other items, so I could just
Yeah.
provide him several at once.
Do you need us to make a motion for that? Or?
No. All right, so I will send her a letter, requesting that she attends the June 11th meeting to
When
provide an
did you get the
update.
rejected, last letter back?
What's it today?
It actually says refused on it? Or does it just say?
I tossed it in here somewhere. Oh, actually, I think I left it on my desk because I hadn't logged it. Yeah, she didn't pick it up. It's actually sitting on my desk as an outstanding item to follow up on, because I don't put them in the file if they reject them.
Oh,
But it was to attend the last meeting, and she didn't pick that up. So you had requested an update from me at this meeting.
Okay, so we don't need a motion.
no, so, you'll send a letter to request your presence in June 11th.
Yeah, because you had said at the May 14th meeting, you had requested me to provide an update at the next meeting, and if it's not repaired then, you'll schedule a hearing.
All right.
So that's what
And
we'll
you
do.
just did.
All right. Sean?
Ask a question, just maybe clarification, because I've seen this on the agenda on and off for a while. So they have this house is contracted with a full-service
Two.
septic.
Two now.
Well, I don't know about the first, but we certainly know of the second one, and they're, a full-service company. you say it's not working, they're living in the house. I would like to think that there's been some communication between Ms. Allen Davis and the homeowner to say, look, if something's a failure, call us as a contract and they would fix it, or,
So the first maintenance company had the maintenance, and in 2015 told the homeowner that the blower is broken, and said, you need to schedule with us maintenance, and you need to schedule repair. The homeowner did not do that, and the homeowner did not renew her maintenance contract, and therefore she was without a maintenance contract for almost 2 years. I was notified that she did not have a maintenance contract by that operator, that they no longer were working with her. So that started my multiple letters to her and the multiple meetings that we've had about this property, to let her know that without a functioning blower, her system is not functioning, because that's the primary component. It's the only thing that makes that system work. And that the board could determine the system's in failure without that component working. She sent, at one of the meetings, she sent a very nasty letter to this board via me, indicating that it's not an important component of her system, that it does not need to be fixed. The only thing that is needed to make her system function is that she gets the tank pumped, which couldn't be further from the truth, per DEP, per her original maintenance operator, and per us. So she's been notified several times by multiple entities that this is an important component for her system, and she has chosen to not work with the original operator who was close to making that replacement. They were 2 weeks away from repairing that blower for her. So as of May 10th, she changed operators, so now she technically has 2 active operations and maintenance contracts with 2 different companies. And the second company is planning to put it in. I don't know how it works between the 2 companies and how they deal with it.
yeah, I was just kind of asking, what's covered under these contracts? I don't know. For all I know, the blower's covered under a service contract, if, I have no idea,
So she has to pay the cost of the blower. She has to pay for the part, just like you would pay for a part on a broken car. So the maintenance operation contract is just like a service contract for any other utility.
Well, be careful, because service contracts in my field, a lot of things are covered, so that's
So
why I
the
say
blowers-
I don't know, maybe you do.
So I do know, the blower is not covered. The blower costs $900. And she originally was going to purchase the blower herself, give it to the initial operator, and have the operator put it in, rather than have the
Right.
operator order the part.
Right.
She chose not to do that, for whatever reason. And then subsequently chose to have another operator come on board. And that operator told me, the second one, that they are now ordering the blower. So the part, according to both maintenance companies, the part is not covered by the contract. The contract covers maintenance, it covers alarm calls, and it covers work associated with repairs. It doesn't cover the parts.
All right, I wasn't sure how that was my
Yeah,
question.
because I read
Sorry.
this
What's
in here,
Yeah.
this is public record, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I read here, if the system fails to meet required test parameters, the homeowner agrees to authorize and pay for any additional repairs or retesting costs as needed. But, yeah, agrees to authorize.
Right, and that's been the difficulty, is getting that authorization
Okay,
to
thanks.
actually happen.
So she's under contract to have it fixed, but she still has to authorize it's gonna.
And so typically,
Both ways,
right,
you're
so-
not really, yeah.
yeah, so typically the maintenance contracts include either annual or semi-annual field sampling. So they collect the parameters of the wastewater and they send it off to the lab. And it covers them coming to do the maintenance, but it doesn't cover the actual physical repairs.
All right, okay.
Sorry, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, no, and I wasn't sure how those contracts work,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah, you have to pay for the parts.
right, okay.
Okay, so we're set with that?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
Okay.
So I'll try to
No
get her to
motion,
come
no
in.
nothing, we're,
Try to get her to come in.
Okay. Discuss and vote up update on non-compliance of failed septic system, 41 Utility Road, McDonough. Want to come up? State name, address.
Thomas McDonough, 41 Utility Road.
Okay. Updates.
Grady has come out, marked off the street. We're waiting for DigSafe to mark their lines or their utilities that could be in the way. The question I had was, within the betterment program, the engineering firm's looking for $600 up front right now to start the perk test. They can't start that until DigSafe comes on the property. So is the $600 reimbursable through the program, through the betterment program to myself? Is that something that's not in the cost of the septic system, or is that something that would be in the program if it was starting on July 1st, when it's supposedly, from what I believe, beginning, when the betterment program begins? And I think that's kind of what the engineering firm is wondering is, you know, since we're using the betterment program, they want to be paid, and that's understandable. They need some type of assurance that they're going to be paid as well.
I guess I'm not a superstar, but of the betterment, but from what I understand, the perk test and all that has to be done before, so we know how much money the whole system is going to cost before we dish out any money, right?
So ultimately, so yes, the work needs to be, let's back up. So the Board of Health determines the parameters by which this town implements the program. Towns have leeway to implement a program in the way they see fit. So you as the board will determine the parameters set for the plan, for the program. It will likely be my recommendation to you that as part of the draft of these is that each of the three major components be covered by the program, or it be possible for each of the components to be covered by the program. So it includes direct costs associated with the perk test, it includes direct costs associated with the engineering, and it would include direct costs associated with installation. In order for the Board of Health to, in essence, know how much you would be loaning any given homeowner, the applicant needs to sign a contract with the Board of Health, and the board needs to know how much they're giving. And in order to know how much the board is giving as part of the loan, the perk test needs to be completed, because that's the basis for the design. And the design needs to be provided with 3 cost estimates for the install, so that the Board of Health can look at, these were the perk test costs, this is the design cost, this is the proposed cost associated with an as-built plan, so all those pieces coming from the engineer, and then 3 estimates for the installation itself, so that you can put a total dollar amount together, so that you would know how much to loan a homeowner such as Mr. McDonough. My likely recommendation to you as we put this together is that you allow for all those components to be included, but that nobody receives payment until the certificate of compliance is issued, so that the Board of Health would have assurance that the septic system is actually repaired and is in compliance before any of the contractors were to receive funds. That is likely my recommendation to you as we start to put together the aspects of the program. My kind of side question is, when did Grady actually perform some of this work? So you said that Grady's been to the site to mark out something. When did he do this? When did one of the Gradys do it?
I want to say last Thursday, maybe a week ago.
Dig Safe hasn't come out yet.
No, Dig Safe hasn't come out. I spoke to Grady Engineering this morning, and there's a $600.
Dig Safe comes out for free. They'll have it done within 3 days.
And my
I understand that, but Grady calls Dig Safe to come out when they know that they're gonna be paid to do the work for the perk test.
So my understanding is
The
that,
1-800 number.
that he won't, yeah, and that Grady won't perform any work,
Yeah.
without getting a retainer.
That's
So, I
Dig
mean,
Safe
the
thing.
Dig
part
Safe
of-
is free, right? Dig Safe
So the
is
part-
Two lines and an arrow and a 1-800 code, and then they have 3 days done.
But I understand that, and
I mean, how long have we been, 2.5 weeks?
the two lines are on the street, the white lines by Grady are on the street. And they told me they would call Dig Safe to come out. And I got a letter from Grady saying
514.
that they wanted $600 to go forward on
At this point,
the
don't you
program.
think you should have some skin in the game and pony up the $600 just to keep things moving along? And then, once we put the plan into place here, we'll recoup the $600 to keep it going?
Well, that's my question.
I mean,
But that's the question I asked today.
But you need
I
to-
called,
hold
excuse
on.
me, because I don't like the term skin in the game like I'm not involved. Because I've been involved the whole time.
We feel that you're not involved.
I am involved because I've been involved.
I don't feel like.
And I've said to you that the reason why I'm not involved was because, the reason that I'm not getting any further is because of a financial situation as to why we went as far as we did with the town meeting. So when the town meeting came through, now here we are. But I don't get a straight answer from anybody here when I ask. There is no straight answer, so I could be out $45,000-$50,000, and then you guys come out and say, no, it's not gonna happen.
There's no straight answer right now because the program is in its infancy.
Right.
Okay? So at some point, you're gonna have to pony up some money in order to make this happen, to keep it moving, and you recoup it after the fact.
Well, that's my
We
question.
don't know yet.
My question was
We don't know
this,
yet.
my question was this, and Ms. Keefe can attest to this. I called you 5 times today to ask that question. Will I be reimbursed that money? I was told today, after 4:30 this afternoon, I was given a phone call, I was told, I don't have an answer for you.
We don't have any,
Well,
you have to understand.
I don't
this
have the
So
$600.
make a deal with them, pay them $50 a week. Pay them $50 a week, do something.
Why don't we start this on July 1st, when the program's in place?
You don't
Because
realize.
I had my system pumped in March. Pete Spencer said that the system was fine, that it was clean. It's not in breakout, we've already determined that.
That's true.
And that there's no hazard to anybody in my neighborhood, and that's all we had. So I said, why not, and I'm asking again, why not wait till July 1st?
But I-
And then, since we don't know how this system works, why don't we have a model for how it works, and we go step by step and get a septic system put in at 41 Utility
That's
Road,
right, but what-
and everyone's happy.
Right now, you're telling me there's a roadblock, and it's a $600 roadblock.
$600 right now, sir, is a lot of money in my family.
Okay.
I just spent 2 weeks in the hospital, all right? I'm not working full-time, I'm not even working right now. So $600 is an awful lot of money to me. It's an awful lot of skin
So like-
to put in the game.
Like I said, maybe Grady can work out some sort of payment plan with you in order, whatever it may be, in good faith in going forward.
Maybe he can.
Well, but
That's, you gotta ask.
Yeah, that's
We-
not us.
We don't call.
That's you.
My question was, and I've been calling and asking,
Hey, your
my
question
question
is,
is,
are you gonna recoup
am I
the money?
going to be reimbursed
Okay.
for the money? If I'm gonna be reimbursed the $600 at some point in the game, then I'll find $600. I'll call somebody for $600.
Okay, but when we.
But if I'm not gonna get $600 back, or not gonna be in anywhere near getting that, I'm not gonna be able to do that at
Okay.
this time.
All
Then
right,
we're at a dead end as far as I see it, because the perk test has to be performed before anything's done, and if there's no way to get the perk test done, then it's not gonna get done. There's no septic going in, there's no nothing, we need a perk test for engineering.
Absolutely,
to design the system.
yeah, exactly.
and if I remember the last meeting here, and you wrote on your notes, what you had to do before we came here. And
Right.
that was to get someone to do a perk test.
Right.
You needed 3, so exactly what we just communicated to you again, we did back at that last meeting.
2 weeks ago.
So you knew what you had to do.
And I've been trying to do that, and I'm calling
But
and
you
trying to
called
get
today.
answers. No, I've called other days, and I get no calls.
Wait a second, you just
Oh.
told us you called 5.
Today I called 5 times
Well,
today.
why?
Today I called 5 times today, and I was told, I don't have an answer for you. I was told I'm not the board.
One moment, please.
I was told you are the board.
One moment, please. So we we most recently discussed this, need to have the 2 items done by today. Most recently on 5/14 and previously on 4/30. I routinely, on the day of meetings, receive anywhere from 4 to over a dozen phone calls from you. The day of meetings, not in the 2 weeks in between, but on the day of meetings, asking these types of questions. So it becomes urgent on the day of meetings to get answers from me or answers from the board.
Well, I can't contact the board. I don't know their number.
Right, but it should.
So I have to call you.
Right, so you call me, and I have spoken to you every single day you have called. No, I can't answer all 15 of your calls, and I'm not sitting in the office all day long, so I do answer your call. I did answer your call before 4:30 this afternoon.
4:15.
Right, so you said you didn't receive a call, so.
I said I received a call at 4:15. I called at 8:30 this
Okay.
morning.
That doesn't matter.
Please.
All right.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna nickel and dime with that.
Well, here's the situation, okay? As he said, and you didn't like the term about the skin in, how long have we been going down this road?
We've been going a long time.
Right, okay, and there's been times you don't show for meetings, okay? This goes way back, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah.
Okay, and that's in the past. But the last meeting, we kinda told you what you needed to come with tonight.
Right.
So you knew 2 weeks ago what you had to come with, besides 4:30, right? You wrote it down in that book right here. I watched
Yeah, I wrote down what I had to do.
So now
And
you're
I-
coming to us tonight.
I was under the impression, when Grady marked out the lines, that dig safe was coming and the ball was moving forward.
Okay, but it-
I learned of the 600, no, that was not today. When they marked the lines out, the 2 gentlemen from Grady said dig safe will be coming to do their part so the perk test can get going. That's what Grady's employees told me, and that's what I was to understand was happening.
And then today.
So
you found
then,
out.
today, I find out that there's a $600 fee that I just wanted to know, am I going to get that money back? If I'm gonna get that money back, I'll find a way somehow to get that money so we can get the ball rolling and get the program started. But that's all I needed to know. If I can't get the money there, then we gotta go to July 1st and start as baby step through it and get the program
You
going.
can't get the money without an approved perk test and 3 sets of plans, correct?
And finished with a certificate of compliance.
Yeah, I mean.
That's when the money goes up.
Right,
So
so,
no money will go out until the set.
No, I understand that. I understand that. And the contractors that I've spoken with understand how betterment payments work. You know, they have done them before. They have other towns that do them. I think we did it at one time here in Scituate before. So they do understand that, okay? My question was, will I be recouped the $600 to get the thing rolling? Will that be recouped from the betterment? That's my question.
and honestly, I don't have an answer because we do not have all the parameters of it yet. So, me personally, I do not know. But if it were me in your shoes, and we all have our crosses to bear and everything that has to happen, and I am sorry you're in the hospital and so on and so forth, but I would talk to whomever engineer, in this case Grady, and see if he can work something out just to move it forward. That's all. That's all. There's good people out there. He may do it for you. You just gotta ask.
I know there's good people. I was very happy with his proposal. I called Morse. I got a proposal from Morse. I had Grady send me a proposal. Like I said, maybe it's my mistake. I thought dig safe was coming.
But you just said yourself that these engineers and the constructions, they've all worked with veteran programs. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they've worked with it. So I do not know if the money's going to come out of that, out of your pocket, or if it's going to come into that. Maybe they can build it in somehow, I'm not quite sure. We don't know any costs of anything yet in order to make this happen before the succession of testing happens.
Right, but do you see where I'm at with when I'm talking to these companies? Because I'm not an engineer, I'm not a builder, I don't know anything about how these things work. I'm a man on a phone saying, hey, I need a septic system, I need to put in my house, I can't pay you because it's part of a betterment program. And am I amazed that they're not flying to the house to start digging dirt in the yard?
And what did they say? What did the engineering company say when you said the exact same thing to them? Did he say, no, I need my $600 right now?
I got a bill for $600, which I called today, which evidently will get the ball rolling for the perk test to begin on the property, and then the design of the system. And then we would go from there. That was my question today, that when I called, I wanted to know, because if that's the case, I'll express mail him the money and get the ball rolling. If we don't know this, then you can see, you have to see where I am as far as, I've been straight up front with the board about the financial impact that this has.
How can you express mail on the money? How do you do that?
How do you express mail money?
Yeah.
You go to the post office and get a money order, put it in an envelope, and overnight it.
Okay, so you're capable of doing that? Okay,
I can do that.
okay.
Sean?
Jen, has it been your experience that the betterment funds could be used for this right out of the gate?
No. So no money can be dispersed.
No. Let's say, Tom does work out a relationship with Grady. So, and it gets designed, it gets built, and everything's done. Can those funds, this betterment fund process, be used to pay Mr. Grady's company? Perfectly legal to use that?
So yes.
It's not like he's
So-
doing siding on his house. So
That's
it's-
right. So the way that I tried to describe it was that every town implements it a little different.
Right.
It's a state
Right,
program, but
right.
there's leeway by town to town. The way most towns do it, and the way that I would recommend it to our board, is that all direct costs associated with each part of the process be eligible for funding. However, so on the back end, so the short answer is yes. On the back end, yes. But what has to happen in order to know how much the board is granting for a loan,
Sure.
the perks need to be done and the
Sure.
design implemented so that the installers can provide estimates. This is what it's gonna cost me. So that the board can sit up here with a calculator and go, okay, the total cost of your system is $23,006. So we're gonna give you a total loan for $23,006. Then that agreement gets put in place between the Board of Health and the homeowner, gets recorded where it needs to get recorded. And then at the end, so when the certificate of compliance is issued, in this case Grady, this is the Grady bill, the town pays the Grady bill. This is the, Ted Ringler bill, the installer. Ted Ringler submits his bill, the town pays that. Mr. McDonough submits his receipts for his upfront costs, and the town pays Mr. McDonough, this is my understanding, that the town pays Mr. McDonough for his costs. All of that collectively then gets rolled into that loan that gets attached to his quarterly tax bill, just like the sewer betterment program. So short answer, yes. Long answer was that kind of descriptive
So to
dialogue.
Steve's point, if the next person that comes up pays out of pocket some of those things and then just wants to use the installation, component and take advantage of that, so.
Yep, so my,
He
right, so my.
takes that much less of a loan, and
That's
just
right.
the installation gets paid, and he was on his own for
Whatever.
design and
Right.
engineering.
Right, that would be my recommendation as to how we would do that, is that these things would be eligible and then it would be up to the homeowner to decide
That's-
what they want to include in their loan request.
Good to know. So everything from the start, from beginning to end, can be legally reimbursed?
Yes,
Or paid.
that's my understanding of the
Great.
program and
Yeah.
how various towns implement it, yeah.
Okay.
But nothing is paid out until it's certificate of completion
Correct,
to anyone.
to anyone,
right.
right, right.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, I guess that's kind of where we're at.
So why
that's what
can't
I'm
the,
saying.
why can't the board issue me a letter that says the owner of 41 Utility Road is having a septic system put in, needs a septic system put in his house, and he's using the betterment program, and you will be paid at such and such a date, on completion of approval, with the inspection, and have them bill the whole thing that way?
Because the program's not in place.
Well, then, when is the program in place?
So I think there needs to be personally, I think there needs to be a little faith on your part. You brought this to town meeting. The town set aside through its capital budget $200,000 for this program. So the town is committed to doing this program, but because it has to be implemented by the Board of Health, it's the Board of Health's responsibility to work out all of these details in a very short period of time to be able to actually implement this program. These three gentlemen need to vote on and set the parameters for the plan and for the program. So I think you need to take a little stock in the fact that the town has invested the money through town meeting, and that these gentlemen are committed to providing the parameters for implementation. But I certainly can't write you a letter saying, these are the terms and conditions for a program that the details haven't been in place yet.
I understand that, and the Board of Selectmen have been very helpful and forthcoming with me. The administration office has been answering every question that I have, and I understand that. I just have to know that going forward, that the money's there, the system will be put in, everyone will get paid. If I have to put out money, if I have to go and obtain money somewhere, that I know that person or persons will get their money back.
Well, I mean, you'll need to have I would assume you'd need to have formalized receipts to be able to document your expenses.
I mean, we can't just give you the $600.
I'm not looking for the $600.
Okay, but you're asking us to write a letter.
Well, no, I'm asking, could a letter be written? If a letter can't be
That can't
written,
be written.
okay, I mean, like I said, I know Grady and other people that I've spoken to have dealt with other towns doing this, so, I know it's not a mystery first-time thing.
So I guess my question would be, is to call Brady and say, either what he said, can I give you the money weekly? Or about the betterment program, can we just lump it into whatever we're doing? You've worked with the betterment program before. I mean, I guess that's where you need to start asking those questions.
Well, that's why I called, and that's what I'm trying to find out.
Again, the big thing I'm reinsuring, you're calling today, the day of the meeting. You couldn't have called yesterday, you couldn't have called the day before.
I'm not gonna discuss my personal situation in a recorded room on what's going on in my life.
Well, you're
So,
doing it right now.
no, I'm not gonna go any further with what's going on.
I understand
all
that,
right?
but I'm saying
So-
calling her. This is what she's saying is, on 4:30, you called her for questions. On 5:14, the day of the meeting, you called for questions. And today, on 5:30, you called for questions.
Right.
You didn't have that question 5:29, 5:28, 5,
I'm not gonna discuss why I wasn't able to do that.
all right. Well, then.
And
guess-
I will, you wanna go outside and,
I don't want to discuss anymore.
Right.
I would say, I guess my question is, you need to go to Grady and you need to do that. And I guess my big thing is, I guess I'm being forced to say that if this keeps rolling, so we need to have a drop dead. If it's the 11th, you need to come in with everything that we just talked about, that's what you need to come in with.
well, that's what I'm looking to do. But I'm looking
Well,
for,
that's what you were supposed to do today.
like I
We
said,
talked about perk test too, like 2-3 months ago.
I understand that, we've been talking about the whole system.
I'm ready to move to condemnation, it's like drags and drags and drags. It's,
Done. We're so close right now. the program is gonna be implemented on 7/1. If this situation was to happen with another person 6 months from now or a year from now, you guys will have all of those things to do, and you'll be able to guide the person on, okay, you can do this, this, and this, but here he is before the start of the program. But this has been going on, someone said, for a while?
4 years.
All right, but we're so close right now, all right? And it's just 7/1 is 1 month away. I don't see what, you know,
I guess my part of it, Sean, and I understand and I'd love to work with people, but it's just a continuous. And
There's
that's,
no guarantee
I
to the
mean-
program either, if somebody comes in with a much worse case. Meaning threatening the public water supply with a bad septic system in their program.
we're here.
It's not a first come, first served situation.
We're here to help you, okay? That's why I've been on the board for 22 years, all right? We need to help this get resolved. We're this close, okay? Don't even think about what you just said, okay?
Well, certainly a conundrum here, Mr. McDonough.
Well, no, it's not a conundrum when I want to have it done. I want to use the betterment program to put a septic system in my home.
Honestly, like I said, and you didn't like the words that I used, when you say I want to have it done, and the way Douglas just presented it, it feels like a kick the can approach every time. And now you're asking if we're going to get reimbursed $600. We just gave you the plan that probably would reimburse the $600 that we'll all get rolled in. And you know, what needs to happen, and you didn't like the phrase that I used, skin in the game. But you're a grown man. You could have just asked the engineering firm. The same way you're sitting here in front of us, you could ask them and say, can I pay you X, Y, Z amount? You've done the betterment program. We shouldn't be here telling you that. And I guess that's part of the problem, is it's got this kick the can situation that keeps happening. And what, your personal life, yes, it's unfortunate. Like I said, and we're sorry for that. But
I'm not looking for you to be sorry for it, I'm just telling you what it is.
I understand that, but by telling us, that all comes into play. Because we're all human, and everybody has emotions. So by you doing that, it does pull the emotional strings, which is fine and dandy. But you are an adult. Your wife's a paralegal.
My wife volunteered to help.
Your wife is a paralegal.
She volunteered to help.
You guys are smart people. All you had to do was just ask and just say, I'm gonna ask the engineering firm, can you put me in a payment plan for this one? I really need to get the ball rolling. And honestly, that would have appeased everybody at this point. Not calling, not coming and saying, am I gonna get reimbursed the $600? Because to us, that just means you're kicking the can down the road.
I think you're missing my point, so I'm not gonna say it anymore, because I'm not gonna say it in a recorded environment. But I do understand what you're saying, but I'm not saying another word about the finances, of my finances.
And that's why I'm saying is maybe you could just ask the engineering firm and just say, this is what's going on. You knew the betterment program, you've obviously done research on it. The engineers and/or contractors, they are aware of it. All you have to do is just say, can you help me out? You know, and once I am the guinea pig on this program, let's say, in the current situation in Scituate, because let's face it, you're going to be the guinea pig, you're going to be the first one. Everything's going to be ironed out as we're working here. So all you need to do is just ask them. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they don't. If not, you said that maybe you could get the means of the $600. If you do that, make sure you get a documentary receipt. So when you have everything going and everybody starts getting paid their fees back, you'll be able to get that money back and then pay that person back if you don't have to do so. And that's it. That is the bottom line. Don't make us come here and sit here and feel like you're kicking the can down the road again. And that's what the four of us up here, at least me, and from what I've heard from Doug and Russell, that's what we feel like is happening. So, you know, nobody wants to condemn your house. Your house is livable. Nobody wants to do that. But you have to take the responsibility and have to show the initiative and the good faith that you're gonna do it. And not just come up here and say, we've already got the betterment program on the roll for you. And now you're gonna ask us for the $600. At this point, I don't know. But at this point, I know I would have found the $600 to get this ball rolling, to show the four of us sitting up here the good faith, and show him sitting there who's going to bat for you, to show some good faith. And that's all that needs to happen. That's it. That is it. And I can see those eyes looking at me, and you may not like what I have to say, but bottom line, that's the truth. That's the truth. Nobody wants to sit up here and condemn your house. We're up here to enforce the Board of Health and what Jen's job has to do, and that's it. And that's it.
Well, it's beyond that. It's, a state regulation, with a failed system.
I know, but it's enforcing
So-
whatever laws and regulations are.
That's right.
That's what our job
That's
is.
right.
That's what our job is. And right, wrong, indifferent, we have to stand up here and do what's best, so the state doesn't come down on Jen, and the state doesn't come down on the Board of Selectmen, and fees don't start to arise. And all you have to do is show that little leap of faith, that yes, you wanna know what, I paid the guy the $600, DigSafe's coming, or I'm gonna file a permit for the perk test, I'm gonna have a witness in 5 days, blah, blah, blah. And you wanna know what, we were all been out of here by now. And that's the way I feel. The other two have already told you how they feel. So I'm not quite sure if we have to vote on anything tonight, Jen. You'll let me know. So what do we need to do?
I guess my question would be, what he was supposed to have tonight should be for the next meeting, that you need to come in with what we talked about tonight.
My understanding is that's clearly not gonna happen, is that we're not gonna see a perk test, we're not gonna see a plan, we're not gonna see it in 2 weeks. So I'm not sure the point of ordering that for the third time. I'm not sure what the point of that would be, because it hasn't happened yet, and if we're talking about $600, we're certainly not going to see, $2,000 for a plan, or whatever the cost may be for the plan. So I'm not sure another order, repeated and repeated and repeated, is worth anybody's time. It's certainly not worth my writing the letter with the same order.
So what are the options? So is there a vote on the table? Do we have to make a motion? What are we doing here?
So there are really two options, that you just let this continue, and just let it continue. Or the only other remedy is condemnation. Those are the two options that we have before us. Those are the two means of quote-unquote enforcement, non-enforcement or condemnation. Those are the only things available that I can think of in the last 6 weeks.
Non-enforcement is kind of thumbing our nose at Title V, I'm assuming.
Title V gives 2 years to fix the system, which is why we've been talking about this for 2 years.
Yep.
Because we're at 4. So yes, so it's non-enforcement of Title V.
How do you figure it's non-enforcement if we're gonna get this done?
Because it was supposed to be done 2 years ago. The state, by state regulation, which is created by state law. Well, you're asking me a question, so I'm giving you.
I understand, yeah.
So state regulations, which is created by state law, very clearly in black and white states that you have 2 years to replace a failed septic system. Your septic system was identified to be in failure in March of 2014. So by law, the system should have been repaired within 2 years. And it's the local level responsibility, i.e. the Board of Health, to make sure that those state regulations are enforced. Whether we like them, whether we agree with them, or whether we hate them, that is the responsibility of my office and this board.
Right, and it's also in black and white in the minutes voted on by this board a year or so ago, that, you know, in cases where there was a failure, but the person was going to remain in their home, the board said that they weren't going to enforce or force them to place a septic system in there. That's in writing.
The Board of Health never voted that. That was a personal opinion.
That's in writing.
That was a personal opinion of one of the board members, which we have discussed the same personal opinion at 2 previous meetings. That was a personal opinion, a preference of one board member, but that is not what the state regulation says. And the board is bound by state regulation. So you're repeating somebody's personal opinion. That was never part of a vote on any property.
And honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. That's a totally different, has nothing to do. Nothing to do.
Right, I understand that, but I'm just saying, where I'm putting the system in the property, you know, we're at this point. That's where I'm at, all right? What I do in my personal life is my personal business.
Correct.
What I'm trying to do is get the system put in my house utilizing the betterment program. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I am attempting to do. Attempting to have the system put in. Whenever it gets put in.
Right.
That's what I'm attempting to do.
Steps there to get there.
I'm not,
Taken.
well, you know, for something that's in its infancy, or, you know, we're walking 1 step forward, 2 steps back, kick the can, if you will, that's not my intent. My intent is to get it done. I've already made it perfectly clear what my financial situation is. So therefore, this is where we're at. So, you know, I'm working with you guys. You guys have been working with me. The Board of Selectmen has been spectacular to me and my family, and ultimately to other families who will be in this same situation, okay? You guys have had situations here in front of the board where people have been in non-compliance for a lot longer than 4 years. Now, we're at a point right now where we can have a tractor digging up in my front yard. Let's just get it done, I agree. But, you know, get the questions answered. Put yourself in my shoes for a minute, okay? You don't know what my shoes are. It's very easy for you guys to spend my money, all right? And I'm trying to get it done, okay? And that's all I'm saying. We're this close, like Mr. Harris said, we're this close. Let's get it done.
But at the end of the day, we're this close, but all those things, components, have to be done. So I guess my hands are saying, you gotta do what you gotta do. You either gotta get them the 600, or see if you can play with it onto the bills and owe it to them, or pay them, or whatever. Because either way, come July 1st, we're not gonna say, here you go, Mr. McDonough, this is $25,000.
Write your cell phone number down. I'll call you tomorrow morning.
I'm not giving my cell phone number out, okay? That's not.
Write
that's
it
not
down.
my-
I'll call Jen.
The problem.
I'll tell you where I am tomorrow morning.
I'm telling you where the board is going.
Right.
And what you need to do.
And I'm telling you, that's,
So that's
if you're
fine.
answering me that I can submit $600 bill to be reimbursed, whether it's August, September, whenever the system's completed, that's what you're saying, then I'll do that. If I'm gonna be reimbursed.
You just heard kind of where it's going. And again, you're telling us everyone in your contractors works with the betterment program before. So they
Yes.
know the program.
Yeah, they do.
So maybe you should ask them, can they float you?
Well, that-
I mean,
Or make a payment.
or make a payment plan.
Whatever,
And
all
and then
right.
go from there. I guess the frustrating piece is, I've only been on the board as this, and this is a continuous thing. And I'm sorry, financially, problems, all that, we all have.
Yeah, I know.
And you gotta, as he said, you gotta keep a faith and show us. We're not, every time we come to a meeting, it's the same thing. And that's all I'm asking. Put yourself in our shoes, okay? If you were sitting here and I'm you, and I keep coming to this meeting, same thing, and you've told me, and I watched you write it down.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Okay, and then today, you're calling about that question, okay? That's the frustrating piece from us.
I understand that.
Okay, well then,
Well, I respect that, okay?
then that's,
We have spent hundreds of man-hours. These 4 people here have spent hundreds of man-hours, and we are no further along than we were when we started down this process 2 years ago.
I
That's the
disagree, I
frustrating
disagree
part.
with that.
The only
That's
thing
not
that,
true.
That's not true, I disagree with that.
the only
And I
thing
find that
I-
offensive, to be honest with you.
well,
I find that, if not you, I find that comment offensive.
okay, but can I say one thing?
You can.
Who started this whole ball rolling?
I did.
Okay,
And why did I? Why did I?
because you came in and asked about it
No,
after you were
no,
gonna sell
why
out.
did why did this whole ball get rolling?
You came in and.
Why did this whole ball get rolling? I had a sick family member,
Right.
and I had to sell my home.
Right.
The family member passed away.
Right.
So then we didn't have to sell the home.
Right.
It got put aside. Then the letters came, so now we're all working to get the septic
No,
system put in.
I think he came in before letters were sent.
Jennifer Sullivan, the previous health agent, sent a letter upon receipt of the Title V inspection, giving Mr. and Mrs. McDonough 1 year. So that initial letter came to him, and they signed for it. I was unaware that the system was in failure until Mr. McDonough came in and asked to look at his folder. I showed him his folder. That's when I discovered that his system was in failure. I indicated that he would get a letter from me, giving him 1 more year to upgrade the system, which would have been the 2-year total allowed under Title V.
Okay, so that's what started looking at it, if you didn't, it wouldn't have we probably wouldn't be sitting here today. That's just my saying.
But you also, living in a town with heavy septic use, there comes responsibilities with having a septic system if you're not connected to town sewer. So some of these issues may or may not arise during the course of your tenure in this town and only the one you live in. So, that is what it is, Colin. You live in a town with septic, these things are going to happen. So, I'm gonna ask the question again, Jen. What needs to happen here? I know there's 2 different options. Is it a vote? Is it not a vote?
Well, I was gonna ask when the July meeting is. When's our first July meeting?
Why July?
It gets us past a deadline.
Joan, do you know?
I'm looking
You
at
looking?
I'm getting it.
So 30th, the
Uh,
11th,
no.
25th, the 9th?
Trying to get it.
I think it's the 9th, because the 4th is the one.
Second.
Yeah, because it's 11th, 25th, 9th, July 9th.
I mean, in my own opinion, I'd move for a condemnation hearing July 9th, unless a perk test is performed and move forward with, sets a deadline. Something's gotta go forward, we have to obey by Title V, and that's what it is. It goes beyond the scope of the town.
I have, July 16th, Monday, and July 30th.
So July 16th.
That gives time for everything. Let it settle, gives you plenty of time. Perk test done, however it goes. If it doesn't get done, then it's set up for a condemnation hearing, as far as I see it. That's my motion, whether it gets seconded or not, I don't know.
So,
If it wants to be discussed, that's fine too.
if you initiate a condemnation hearing on the 9th, there's a series of administrative steps in advance for public notice, all of those things. So if that would be the case, then I would need to back up that date,
Mhm.
a deadline date, so that proper notification can be made for public hearing.
Well, that might be it, the drop dead, so we move forward with this. Perk test, whatever else. It's after the July 1st,
So it's the 16th.
which I heard in the room tonight.
16th is.
The 16th, yeah. Yeah, so that's my motion.
You do realize that if we go, and I don't know what the other board member is thinking, you know, if this gets seconded, you know, if you procrastinate, it's just gonna end up costing you more in the long run.
I just want you to know that I'm not procrastinating to disturb your work that you do on the board. All right? It's not about procrastination. Just letting that be known publicly. If it was about procrastination, I would say, rightfully so, you got a good case there with me. It's not about that. So I do agree with that. I do understand what this gentleman's motion would be doing as far as to my family and to my home and to my situation. And personally, it would be thumbing the nose at the hard work that the Board of Selectmen have put through going forward with the betterment program, which is not my intent. So yes, I do understand what you're saying.
Well, and maybe, like I said, you know, if you had just asked the engineering company for some sort of payment and just said, you wanna know what? You came in here and you said, the dig safe's coming, XYZ date, I have a perk test set, blah, 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 but this is where it's going. And that really would have, you know.
When I was doing, Steve, just to be honest with you, when I was doing what I was doing, when they were marking out the lines on the street, I said, hey, what's going on? They had their truck, their van, Grady Associates. Oh, we're marking this off for the septic. Dig Safe's gonna come and mark their things for the perk test, so the perk test can go. Then I had to go on about what I had to do, okay? I thought Dig Safe was coming. Things piled up in my personal life, and yes, maybe it seems like procrastination to you. I'll be honest with you, it's not procrastination, okay? It's not. It's just the way it is. And that's where we are here. So I'm not looking to create more work for you. I'm not looking to get under your skin. I know it might seem that way. That's not where I'm at. I'll be perfectly honest with you. That's not where I'm at.
I'm not trying to say that that's what you do. All I'm saying is that we've asked for a leap of good faith and just done a little more than you've done up until now.
And I guess the other thing is those people that are putting the markers on the thing are workers. I mean, they're not the person that you're going under contract with. And if I'm going under contract with someone, that's who I want to talk to, not his employee. I mean, that being,
Doug, as I said to Steve, I was going out of my home to do something that I'm not going to discuss here.
right,
And I took that and went on about what went on, and then what I went to do impacted my life for a week or so, and now I'm back to where I am, so that's where I'm at. Okay?
Okay.
Like I said, I haven't been to work since May 29th, May 27th. I haven't been at my job. I mean, April 27th. Okay? I haven't been working. So I've been doing other things that require my attention.
Okay.
Not trying to bust your balls. I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying. Just understand how I was saying it to Steve.
I totally agree, but I'm just saying, from a contract, if I'm signing a paper with you and you're the head guy, that's who I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with him or him because they're the workers.
All right.
That's all I'm saying. So that's where I'm saying, going by whatever the person said, I would have been calling Grady, because that's who my contract's with. Same thing when they start digging. Those guys don't know if they're getting paid, whatever they get paid, to dig a hole. They'll tell you what they want to hear.
Jen,
So-
Jen, I got a question. So the goal is to have this program implemented by July 1st, correct?
On or after July 1st has always been the statement.
Okay. And
There are multiple departments that have a lot of work to do to get this program in place. And all of those departments are working on it.
wow, so this is a, all right, so Russell, make your motion.
Make a motion to continue with condemnation at the July 16th meeting, 2018, if perk tests are not performed.
So he needs to have at least a perk test done within 6 weeks, or just over 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that doable? Is that doable? That's all I'm asking, is that doable?
I'll start the process with that. Yeah, that's doable.
Well, you say that's doable.
That's doable.
I'm gonna give you one more chance. I'm not gonna second Russell's thing. I don't know what he's gonna do, because majority still votes. But you just told me you're gonna do it. I'm gonna go in good faith, that if you're not gonna do it, then the condemnation hearing will happen, depending on what happens. And if it does not, then the meeting after that, it will happen. So you just told me in good faith, you have, I cannot shake your hand, approximately 5 weeks plus, it's going to happen. And if it does not happen, then the unthinkable might happen. And there you go.
Fair enough.
So whichever way you need to procure that protest being done, my suggestion is you get it done. Because the 9 lives are at 9.5 lives. And I understand where Russell's coming from. He's been doing it longer than I have. But I am not going to second it. I don't know what he's gonna do right now. But we'll go from there. And you tell me if you're, that, we're gonna give you that deadline. And if it does not happen, it's going to be the unthinkable.
I mean, and that's kind of what his thing is, so I second.
So there you have it. There you
Okay.
have it. So you have XYZ days to the 16th. XYZ days to the 16th. You told me you're gonna get it done. I am going out and live for you. This is what's gonna happen. So you just gotta make it happen. Beg, borrow, steal, make it happen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Beg, borrow, steal, make it happen.
Is that a no?
That is a no. I just told you exactly how I was gonna vote. So,
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
that's all to you.
Director's report.
We'll keep this very brief.
All in favor? Yes.
We are currently working on myriad of camp permitting. Private wells, we have 1 new application, 1 certificate of compliance being requested, and 1 plan approval since the last meeting. We are currently also working on pool permitting and inspections. three pools have been permitted and opened, if I'm not mistaken, since the last time we met and since I wrote this. Others to follow in the next couple of weeks, as they get ready for post-school season and all sorts of other summer activities. Nuisance cases, we have one closed, we have 3 current open, which is one less than the last time we met. We are keeping tabs on a myriad of dumpsters, both private and, of the commercial variety. Given that the summer season has started, we've received several complaints, and we're trying to help folks keep tabs on getting them picked up and kept clean a little bit better than needed in the winter. We're prepping for beach season within the next 3 weeks. Housing cases, we have 11, which is 3 new since the last time we met. We are issuing many temporary food permits, seasonal establishments and food trucks are being permitted. The farmer's market is to begin in 1 week. We are permitting so far 5 applications. We have provided that new detailed vendor application, which I think so far has worked well. It's provided a little less back and forth between the applicant and Joan. It's a little more clear on what's needed to be provided. For inspections, we've had 15 between 410 and 418. Includes 1 complaint with 5 re-inspections. Critical violations were no paper towels at the hand sink, can opener being dirty, allergen awareness not being quite up to snuff. Food was in the temperature danger zone. We had moldy or rusting and peeling racks. Coolers were not at proper temperatures, and glass and dishwashers were not sanitizing. For septic, we've had 3 new plans. We had 3 new plans in the queue since 5/9. We have so many certificate of compliance requests that it has risen since I wrote this. We also have several outstanding with 1 or 2 items that we're still waiting on, whether it be revisions or deed restrictions or the like. So we're trying to follow up with as many as possible. We have 2 outstanding operations and maintenance repairs, with 1 being discussed tonight. We have 4 outstanding operations and maintenance contracts, none of which are new. We have 2 abandonments, 1 which is completed and 1 which is not quite there. And then we have 5 new failed or conditional passing systems since the last time we met. So it's a very busy season, as you can imagine. Right. That's what I got.
Thank you.
Cool.
Old business? Other business? Meeting minutes for April 18th and administrative invoices approved. Approval.
I'm sorry to say the minutes. All right, Joan's gonna grab the minutes. Because she's quick. And we've got invoices.
Yeah.
Get a little squished in the folder.
On the subject of the previous meeting we had, which I don't want to discuss anything about, it would be improper. It was mentioned about the betterment program. Can any of that be discussed in old business?
I think it's probably safe not to. It's safer not to.
Safer not to, then I'll leave it at that, and, yeah.
I can put it on as new business for
Right.
next time, so that it's on schedule.
Just so we know where we're at, what we're doing, how's it
Of
going,
course,
and
of
if there's
course.
any drafts or anything like that.
Of course.
And no more said, understood, just so.